Hey guys and gals, let's build the Illager Raid by LEGO Minecraft set number 21160, and it has roughly about 600 bricks. I don't know, I already lost the box. So, I don't know if I'm going to break this in one or two installments, but let's have a look at the manual, and yeah, I believe I have all the parts to actually make this minifigure now. So, the Everyone is Awesome actually had the green torso, so I can make this guy here. Let me show you how to use the brick separator. So here's what it is. It's broken down into 4 bags. So this is obviously a newer set, so they kind of mix it up here. So you're not really just building nothing but accessories. So, I got this at the end. I like it when LEGO mixes stuff up. I don't want to just where I'm spending an hour just building accessories. So we'll see how well we do with the installment. It looks like this is needed first. Okay, let's begin. Bag number 1. Well, butter container number 1. Okay, I was supposed to start this about a week ago. Well, you know, when my mind is hot with tutorials, that's when I want to build them. I don't want to be like, oh, I jinxed it, not you know, my mind completely just goes blank. So, pretty much, that's what I've been doing, is getting tutorials ready to go for you guys and gals. I can't tell you what one of them is, I just finished it up. But I have 2 tutorials related to Halloween, maybe possibly a mock. You know, I haven't figured that out yet, or maybe it may be just made instantly into a tutorial. So Halloween is upon us now. Well, I'm filming this in the end of September, so I don't know when it'll be released. But yeah, you know, that stuff is always stuff that kind of bogs me down. Well, stuff like this. It's printed. I need to get some of those. Those are kind of cool. I've been trying to get a lot of the builds done, the LEGO set reviews, so I can work on more mocks. I was evaluating my time over the weekend, and I was like working on a tutorial, and the total hours were like 2 hours for this whole tutorial from start to finish. It was just a spur of the moment idea, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours at the very most, I don't know. And I was just working on it and thought, that's not too bad, you know. I see some people out there and they just whip out tutorials like crazy, and what's holding me down is reviews. So, well, maybe I spoke too soon. It is dreaded accessories. But anyways, though, I prefer to do the tutorials and the mocks more than this. You know, just that kind of thing. So, you know, that's just something I've been trying to do. It's not time, maybe it is time management, I don't know. I'm very poor at that, I'm not going to lie to you. But it's just something that I need to, you know, figure out on my own and all that stuff. But I'm glad a few of you actually comment and enjoy these videos. Like I read a comment from Ingrid that she gets to know me more as a person, and you know, about the stories and stuff. And that's the whole intent of these, as well as just doing a live build, is just to sit back and just talk to you. A lot of people don't do that in their LEGO things. It's like, today I'm going to be doing a speed build on this set. You hear the piano music and that going. You won't know me as a person if I'm doing that. It would be just kind of bland. So you will not hear that on here. I just kind of want to keep these more ASMR-like and that kind of thing. So Apparently that's an armor stand. So I'm glad that she enjoys these videos, as well as a lot of you guys and gals, as I know, because the retention rate on these is pretty beefy, about 50–60%. So maybe somebody's watching these all the way through and just dozing off to them. You know, that's always cool. So, and I'm starting, in addition to my day job, I'm also getting some side jobs, programming gig jobs, basically targeted towards holiday stuff. And one of my meetings is at 2 a.m. in the morning, early Thursday morning. So I have a meeting to do, an online meeting through Google Meets, before I have to get ready for work and do my day job. So, I've heard, when they said Thursday, I think, oh, that's not too bad. No, that's on a business day for me. So I was like, well, I'm not going to cancel, because I already made the appointment. I thought, well, I'm not going to be one of those and cancel. So, just have to bite the bullet. I mean, just have to stay up till the meeting ends at 3 possibly. Hopefully sooner than that. So what I'll probably do is just have everything ready to go, and then when I'm done with the meeting, just hop in the car or something and go to work. That kind of thing. Okay, so that's how we're doing the tiles on these. Make 2 of those. So far, the build is just your typical Minecraft. That's pretty much how I'm feeling right now on this set. It's just typical. Oh yeah, speaking of the Lego stuff, I've almost made it 1 full year in the Ambassador Network too. That's an achievement for me. I mean, usually I mess things up and say the wrong things, you know, but I think I've made it through. Well, I probably have it partially set up because I try not to say anything at all. You know, I don't want to mess it up and step on somebody's toes, and then, well, that's how it is. So I've been trying to keep to myself. I've been reading a lot of the articles on there and stuff like that, and you know, for me, I like to learn things first before I start putting my 2 cents worth in on things. You know, I kind of get a feel of the forums and stuff. And forum boards, yes, there's still communities out there who use a forum board. Where for somebody like myself, you know, before I joined that ambassador thing, last time I used a forum board was when I was in college. You know, because a lot of this stuff we don't really, you know, with Discord and all this other stuff we use today, forum boards have kind of, you know, they're just not what they used to be, you know, except for maybe educational stuff. But Lego uses it like it's new technology. Like they were looking for somebody to recode that, and I thought, well, I charge too much for them anyways, so they're not even, they were looking for somebody, I guess. Somebody had said they were looking for somebody, and I thought, well, I don't do forum boards. I have experience in doing them. I did them back in college, but now we're more into live interactions and stuff. So this is the glazed terracotta, and I need to find these tiles. They make great vintage floor tiles. You know, you remember, probably some people who watch these are probably too young, but remember back when you'd go in your grandma's house, or your parents had something like that. My parents had that really weird, funky linoleum patterned floor in their house, and it was like olive green and tan and gold, and and Harvest Gold or whatever it was. And yeah, I mean, now, what is it now? Everything's pretty much monochrome, but that kind of thing. Alright, put 2 emeralds in there and 2 diamonds. Okay, and we got ourselves a goldfish, or probably a puffer fish. Not a puffer fish. Clownfish. Puffer fish don't exist. They only exist in modded Minecraft. I kind of wish people in the LEGO community would get into Minecraft. It's a really good collab tool for making things. Alright. Well, we're done with the accessories. So, we're going to index that there. We're going to do this bag here. So, yeah. So, yeah, let the holiday projects begin. So I've been working on tutorials mainly for Halloween. Well, they're Halloween related, and I can't tell you what they are, but I hate when you have more ideas than you know what to do with them. So I'm just waiting for a batch of parts to come in right now so I can do them. I would tell you guys and gals, but the sad thing about it is that there is people out here who watch these, and they're like competition. If I say, I'm going to make this, next thing you know, 2 or 3 other YouTubers have already made it before I even got it off the drafting board. So I have to keep all my mocks and all my tutorials quiet. You know, I would love to tell you guys what I've worked on. It's pretty cool. But I can't share it with you. I can't leak it or anything. I could do it on Patreon though, but I can't do it on here. But when I have a hot idea in my mind, that's when I don't want to, you know, forget it. So that's why I've been trying to preserve this stuff. And old Kappa is striking people again. You know, I can only work so fast. And maybe that's not supposed to go there, but where does that go actually? Oh, I see where this goes. It's supposed to go there. At least this set comes with a brick separator. So, it seems like tutorials or anytime you show the LEGO logo and stuff like that. So if you can comment, feel free to do so. Even though if these are for adults, I try not to cuss in my videos, but that may soon change. I may start dropping the F-bomb in these. It's not something I want to do, but, you know. Which leads to Patreon. I may put family-friendly versions of the videos on there. It sounds a bit backwards. Usually you have to pay for the raw uncut stuff now. And I'm going to leave my opinions out of what I think of Kappa. But one thing I want to ask that question, do you, especially for those out there who agree with it, do you really want the United States government to raise your kids? Yeah, I'll leave that up to your imagination. You know, when I was a kid, my parents didn't want me watching something, they would just tell me no, and if I snuck in and watched it anyways, they would just wheel the TV out of the bedroom. They couldn't take the iPad away. We didn't have iPads or anything, and you know, if I only had 4 TV channels to watch, sometimes the local networks actually had some questionable stuff on there. You know. So yeah. And that's one of the reasons why now I do a lot of the building guides. because I used to use video tutorials for preserving ideas. Well, with COPPA running it around, what good is making videos, have them stored on a private server just for me to enjoy and not to share with you? You know, just kind of pointless. What the heck is that? Oh, that must be the bale right there. That must be the little bale. Let's see. These are actually gold too. I hope these don't break when I put them together. And then we have one of these here. Alright, let's stick this. Looks like it goes in this tube here. Yep, you could probably already guess it's a bedside build. And you want your bell right there. I like doing that at night when I'm running through a village. I'll just go in and ring the bell just to knock the villagers out of bed. They don't like that too much. Okay. So this is not too bad. Maybe we'll just do this all in one sitting. Get it out of the way. Okay. I really would like to get these done swiftly and promptly. Must be an acacia tree. I'm just guessing. I mean, we're in a desert biome. Usually they have those in there, and that's exactly what that is. How I know that? Because the book tells us. Those things usually drop a lot of saplings, so I'd scarf those up and go about my business. Drop a lot of saplings and sticks, too. So use the gray for that, which is what they do. Okay, I see. I was like, how did they go in here? You can't depend on that picture. You have to go here. So that's how they do it. So when I do these building guides, I look at how Lego does things. So I use it as like a little teacher. How do they do stuff like this? How would I be able to show that? And they do it like this. So if they do it, I guess it's okay if I do it too. I try to make my building guides follow their standards. You know, that kind of thing, just to make things more consistent. And this is all the parts that remain for bag 1. Okay, so bag 2 looks like we're just building a villager, a pig, and looks like some farm stuff. And so far, this set is not depressing at all. It actually gives you a bunch of parts, too. A lot of pieces in here I could use for making other boxes stuff. You know, so that's kind of what I'm shooting for here. Yeah, I'm just ready for fall. It's like 100 degrees high. Nights are like in the 80s again. So where's winter at? I don't know. I've been watching on the news about Florida getting hit with a hurricane. Their water over there is like 80, 85 degrees. Wow, you know, which is hard to believe because my pool is sitting about that too. And I thought, man, you know, when my parents went back east, they went to Florida. I said, "Did you ever put your feet in the water in Florida?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "Did you expect it to be cold?" And they're like, "Yeah, we put our feet in." It's like, we put them in, and it's just the water is just so warm. Because out here in the West Coast, it's cold. You know, like if you want to go surfing, you have to wear a wetsuit. There's no way around that. You have to bundle up, or you know, you're just going to be too busy heating up the ocean with your body. Your body would overheat and And of course, you know, hypothermia sets in, so it's better just to wear a wetsuit. So I've been kind of watching that, and I know there was one that hit Canada that pretty much devastated some areas. I think it was the storm of the century. And then they've been talking about California's going to have its 40-day rainstorm, especially in my area where it's supposed to put us 100 feet underwater. Well, I don't know how, but okay. 100 feet. I'd have to swim down and get my Lego. But I don't know. Kind of went out of sequence on the steps here. So yeah, I've been trying to get these sets done as quickly and promptly as possible, just so I can harvest the parts and just do that. You know, build things. I have a bunch of ideas for big mocks. I have a couple ideas for houses. I just the roof is the only thing that's kind of stumping me on right now, because it's just trying to find the parts to make the roof, and that's just pretty much how it is. Okay. Yeah, but I just want to hurry up and get cold and walk outside. And matter of fact, I just saw that California wants to start banning natural gas furnaces, and I'm like, well, I only run my furnace a handful of times out of the year, but I mean, what's next? You're going to ban my AC? Well, they're talking about banning ACs that use refrigerant out here. Mind you, you're in the desert. And if I have to get rid of my AC, it's goodbye. I like to have my freezing cold AC. I keep my unit always tuned up and stuff, so there shouldn't be any problems with it. And I'm going to go ahead and tip this thing down a little bit better. You know. But I'm just like, please don't be changing stuff. Okay. Looks like we're building one of my air mattresses. I did have a viewer ask, why don't I make these air mattresses 3 studs wide? If they make a 1x3 transparent white plates or tiles, I could do that, but with it just as it is, that's what it is. That's pretty blue for that in there. I mean, that looks it looks deep. Alright, let's see what we got in here. Yeah, so far the build is pretty easy, especially for an adult. Did I skip a page here? Yes, I did. Alright, there's supposed to be some stuff right here. I just want to get back into the custom stuff as bad. I was thinking when I first started YouTube, I was just doing custom stuff because I had a very small collection. It was easy to find parts, and it was just fun back then. And plus I was in school, so I had more time between study sessions to build. Now it's just not possible anymore. Must be the beetroot. They use one of these dark pink studs and a little green stud flower. Okay, and they just have some regular ones here. Oh yeah, when I go find a village, some people would clear out all the villagers' food. I don't know why they do that. I mean, everybody plays Minecraft differently, but I harvest what's there and I replant. Especially if you're in a multiplayer server, so you're not one of those douchebags. Because I don't want to be a douchebag, so I just replant. I don't want to be one of those people. Now, for the chest, I do take the stuff that I want. I'm on my own personal Minecraft server with friends. I don't usually take things because I rather mine for it. Usually, if it's emeralds, I'll take them, but diamonds, I'm kind of like, do I really need those diamonds that bad? But I progress in the game so slow that everybody finds all the good stuff before I even get to it. You know, Jay, you're the admin. Don't you just go and help yourself in Creator? And I'm like, no, I don't do that. Okay. Yeah. Just trying to think of some, anything else that I could do during the holidays, because I'm gonna be on a 12 week break, so I won't have to worry about work and stuff, and I just worry about just doing nothing and work around the house and all that stuff, that kind of thing. Yep. Yawn monster. Must be the compost bin. Ooh, that's reddish brown. You know how many chests I have in reddish brown that I'm just scared to use because I'm afraid that it's just going to get brittle and break. And then that's sad too. You have to think like that. Brittle brown. Matter of fact, since I've been doing the Whoops I Broke It series, there's been other people doing those too. I'm like, why don't you just give credit where credit's due and stop snagging my pictures and stuff. Things break because I use that part and it breaks. What good is stealing it? You're not going to have the experience of breaking it yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I've been going back to shorts again on YouTube. I'm going to use those mainly for updates. I don't know if I'll do any on this channel, but for my main I'll probably do that. Like, hey, here's an idea. Here's a food for thought, Yeah, I've been on a prison documentary binge watching mood for a while. Not really for inspiration, but just like, man, I'm so glad I never did that crazy stuff. Although I do see why some people do, especially kids, they do this crazy stuff. Where I live at, it's just so boring. If kids can get bored here, I mean, I'm a full-grown adult with a career and stuff, even if I get bored. So it's like, I understand where you're coming from there. This must be the pin for the pig, the one single pig. Why don't we just use tan here? I don't understand that. And as far as for the campground is concerned, well, oh, you know what I did? This is actually supposed to be offset. That's why they use the black in there. I have not even worked on the campground. I have a layout. I have it ready to go. The problem is, it's time. And like I said, when I was evaluating myself, I was like, I'm wasting a lot of time doing a lot of these sets because I have a bunch of them in my stash that need to be gone through. I don't want somebody to think, oh, we buy him sets, but he doesn't build them. So I'm trying to build everything I can. You gotta build them all, you gotta catch them all. You gotta build everything you can just so I can so I can get some space back in here. It'd be nice to get some extra space so I can have more storage for parts. If I've got a shop that I'm storing parts in, but I'm using that for overflow right now until I can really assess and see if I really want to move a whole room's worth of Lego in there. I mean, I'm just thinking, would it be worth it? Of course, having 2,000 square foot to build such builds and creations would be cool to do. Just to sit back and I'll have an actual place to build this stuff. Well, they show these going here too. I'm just going to shove these in here. They have an inset right here for that, but I'm just resting my arm. So I'm just doing these like one at a time. I think I'm going to go ahead and just blast through the whole build in one sitting just to get it done, say I'm finished, and move on. So far, the builds, so far up to this point, it's all over the place. That's pretty good for my building experience, for me personally anyways. It doesn't feel dry and boring. And it's just your typical Minecraft set. Now we have this crafting table sitting in here. If you're going to have the pig in here, wouldn't the pig hop out here? Well, wait a minute, there's a bed in here too. So maybe it's not for the pig after all. And I'm still working on the building guides for that one house I've been working on. Because today I was editing mostly. I edited a tutorial and 3 reviews. If I was just doing that one tutorial, I would have been working on the building guide. So yeah, it's got to be done. They show that this thing is supposed to go on here and you're supposed to set it there. That doesn't really work, so I'm just going to do that. The beauty about Lego is you can build it any way you want. I remember when I was trying to stay awake through the Lego movie, it's like, oh, you have to build this way, you have to follow the instructions. Really? You actually have to do that? I didn't know. I was building it any way I want. I think I skipped a page because here's the furnace. I always like the lit part better. Especially in my houses, the furnace is always lit. And we have a wood axe. So where does that go? Did that go in somebody's hand? Let's see here. Yeah, where does the wood axe go? Or did this come from another bag? It doesn't show it in there. So I'm thinking this came from another bag, so I'm going to hang on to that. And let's see here. This is the parts that are left over from bag 2. So let's move on to bag 3, and let me see where I didn't. Yeah. That's more like it. Okay, so yeah, this thing is one of these modern sets. They're all over the place. You don't lose your interest by the time you get done building the accessory stuff, and then you're just kind of bored out of your mind. So I'm going to say so far, for it being a Minecraft set, a Minecraft set, it's pretty enjoyable. It's relaxing to put this together. Am I bored with it? They're just like any other Minecraft set. You know, after a while, you just build the same old stuff again. So we got to build ourselves a little cat. Let's get that going here. Or you know what we'll do? No, let's just do the cat real quick. I already see the head. Yeah, let's start building the actual build. Well, no, we're going to have to do the cat. And the reason why is because I'd have to remember, and I'll probably forget anyways. Knowing me. Yeah, I can't wait to get my parts, and I gotta look. They said that you've already shipped them out, but I want to look and see here. So they did some improvements, I think, to the new Pick-a-Brick. You just have to order $14 from each category, which gives you a total of $28. But you got to remember, if you want to get the free shipping, you're going to have to clear $35. So really, nothing has changed in that aspect. Just have to buy just a tad bit more, but you know, it's not the Pick-a-Brick standard that I'm having a problem with. It's the best sellers, with quotes, best sellers. When they claim it as a bestseller, and I'm looking at these parts, I'm like, there's not a whole lot in there. So it's like, how do I clear $14? So I look for things that I absolutely just need to buy in bulk. So once I reach my $14 limit, which that's usually easy to do, I'll stop. I won't buy any more. Because usually it's the standard that I'm having problems with. So I just like, okay, I'm done buying, no more. Okay, this must be, yeah, it is. It's a little bookshelf. So we're back onto that over there. So bag one did some of the figures in the village center. Bag 2 mainly did this and part of the base, and bag 3 is the kitten and more of the base. I don't know. So that's pretty much what it is. The build's broken down, so it's not. Get that out of the way there. It's not too terribly bad. And that goes there. And then we put this inside of here by the bed, like a little nightstand or something. I usually use bookcases for those. That's after I build the enchantment room, so I can enchant things. These must, oh, okay, so these are little flower pots. It's like, what are these for? We got to make 2 of them, so these are just little flower pots. But here I was talking about that, and that's exactly what that is. So I think this is either wool or grass. It's probably wool in there. Well, we obviously know it's not planks. There's no green planks unless you're using modded craft. But my nephew showed me a mod on Bedrock where it was a camping pack. He said you had to buy it or something, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. But it's Bedrock, and then of course they use some of the mobs for the campers, and I thought, well, not really my cup of tea. Now we got to stack 2 of these on top of one another here. I just remembered you can use walls in Minecraft, the regular walls for building walls. It's just hard to use them with doors and stuff. You got to put one there. And so far, this is a very nice build. It's not, well, crappy. Now I got to make 7 of these. It'll be easy for me to do them here, and then we'll smush them down. Yeah, I had a fan and a viewer asked me about my brick pumpkin I was selling, the building guide, and I don't know if he's subbed to this channel or not. I'm hoping he is. Was asking about the transparent eyes. Why didn't I include them in there? He thought he was going to be buying the building guide for version 1 of the pumpkin. And there is 2 versions of that pumpkin. The one without the eyes is version 1. The one that's on Rebrickable is version 2. It's the same thing as the transparent eyes, except the eyes are solid. The reason being is Lego doesn't make a 2x4 brick in transparent orange. If they made that in a 2x2 brick, it'd be a piece of cake to do those. Sadly, they don't. They make 1x1 plates, 1x2 plates, and 1x1 bricks. And I don't want to sell a building guide that's, you know, crap. And I even told this gentleman, I was like, I can't just, I can, you know, and I've been thinking about doing it. If somebody's willing to cough up money for that, you know, in terms of parts, you know, to build that pumpkin with the transparent eyes, the transparent orange eyes, and the nose and the mouth. And I told this guy, I said, if it's something you're interested in, you purchase it and you let me know in a reasonable time, I can draft it up. I'd have to build all these bricks with 1x2 plates. I said, it's expensive. One of these here takes 12 of those plates. You know, I mean, what's, you know, 9 times 12? You know, what's 3 times 12 is 36. 36. 36 and 36 is 72. Yeah, that's 72 cents so far. And then, well, it's too late for me to figure all that out. But I was like, you're talking about an extra $20 into adding those eyes into that pumpkin that I wasn't satisfied with, you know. And he was really concerned it was version 1. I'm like, version 1 was crap. What you're purchasing is version 2 with the solid eyes. But I've seen some take that pumpkin and they'll leave the eyes out. You know, leave the black parts out. And it looks really good. It looks like a real pumpkin too. Because the innards are all orange. I think I had a few yellow pieces. I can't remember. So it was basically set up like that. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, they go like this. And that was pretty much how I had the pumpkin set up. And, you know, I think maybe a day later I had 2 more purchases for the pumpkin. So that's pretty cool. But I told this guy, I said, dude, if I get that pumpkin, let's say if you're really interested, you already made a purchase, I can see if I can come in and build the building guide And it doesn't matter if he's already bought a copy or not, because technically I'm not changing really the plans on that hardcore. So I would just say I would have 2 building guides in there for that pumpkin, one without the eyes and one with the eyes. I looked at the building guide. It wouldn't be hard. It would just take about a day or 2 to really make it work. But it would not be cheap in terms of finding the parts. So I was just, you know, I'm being honest with him. I didn't want to be like some crooked salesman, like, oh yeah, it has that in there. You know, I don't mind answering those questions. And he says, well, if he would have said, oh, I'm not really interested, I mean, that's okay too. Because I could have just got a rough draft and told, okay, here's the building guide, here's the new stuff. But I think maybe with the ones with the eyes, I think there was 1 or 2 minor changes with the actual build, but nothing really noticeable. I understand why a lot of people want the little eyes that are transparent orange, because it looks cool. You know, looks pretty cool. It's just cost-wise. So, looks more like a jungle door. I think that's what this is supposed to be. I think I only have like 5 building guides, and I have 4 mocks that are premiums. I did get a fan ask me, when am I going to release building guides for free? I said, well, every 50,000 subs I'll release 1 guide for free. I think I've only released 1 on Rebrickle. I got to do another one. And then when I reach 150, I'll release the 3rd one. Once they're made into premium, I'm not going to, they won't be free anymore. So, once I make them free, they stay that way. I always like to have a few freebies. And the reason for that is, you know, somebody's interested in that, they could see my quality of work. Nobody wants to be surprised with some, oh, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be like that. Nobody wants to be surprised with some junky old sub-quality build. I know I wouldn't. And I don't know, I think the building guide for that was $5. And that's what I thought the pumpkin was worth. Some people were selling theirs for $20, and I looked at mine and thought, it was not a hard one to do. The pumpkin wasn't the most challenging build that I have ever done in terms of building guides. So for me, it's cheaper. And when you got a lot of people requesting, I've sold like 30 copies so far of that manual, the cost goes down. Let's say the simple farmhouse, I got it priced for $20. Okay? And somebody, let's say I have right now about 10, 12 people who are interested in buying it for $10. Well, the more people who are interested in it, the cheaper I can sell it. So let's say the pumpkin, for example. I had 100 people guaranteeing they want to buy it. I'd sell the manual for like $2 or $3, you know. And that's pretty much how I would do them. So if it's a popular item, oh, it's popular, they sell it for more money. No, I don't. I don't do that. If it's a popular item, it makes it easy for me. So it makes it a lot easier for me, you know, as the guy who's writing them up. But at the end of the day, though, you know, it's easier to make the manuals, because if I were to do the pumpkin in a video tutorial, it would just be the same thing. I did have a video tutorial for the pumpkin, but it was mostly just me rambling and taking notes of what I need to do with it. It was not like a more formal tutorial. And a lot of brick separator work, where I had to use this half the time to change parts out, and several revisions before I even had to make the building guide. What Lego? No 2x3 sand yellow flat tiles? Really? Could have used those for campers. Oh, and yeah, speaking of campers though, camper builds are just so big. And I've been kind of thinking, you know, I'm on the fence on this one. Do I just make campers strictly purchasable building guides? But then I still film the video tutorials for the build. Oh wait a minute, this doesn't go on here. Because the video tutorials are essentially just that. I sit and build and do that. But some people watch the video tutorials just for background noise and such. Or ASMR content. So I've been kind of toying around the idea of maybe just, you know, keeping it as is. I know some people, I did a poll a long time ago on YouTube, and a lot of people prefer video tutorials over the written building guides. So I won't do that anytime soon. But then there's COPPA around we got to be careful with. There's one thing I really want to build in Lego, but it may be too much of a magnet for COPPA. It was something I grew up with back in the early to mid 80s. I would love to build, but I can't do that. Looks like this goes on the top. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, just like those ones you see in the desert village. But yeah, it's so sad that we have to plan ahead now about that. And there was always that question, Jay, what happens if COPPA shuts you down? I'd be like, well, I keep all my videos archived anyways, but then I'm going to have a backup on Patreon, so the ideas will never totally be gone. And that's it. Not too bad. I've still got that axe, but that answers my question right there. And so far, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a very relaxing build for what it is. And that is the remaining parts for bag 3. Okay, now we are going to be moving on to bag 4. It looks like it's the Pillagers and the Rabid Savage, whatever those big rhinoceros things are called. Okay. And I'll just leave that out because my luck, you know. Yeah, the next set I got to do after this, 238 bricks. After that, that's it for my personal Lego. I guess these are just something you just set on the table, just as a little extra piece. These take a regular torso here. Alright, we're just going to skip. Well, we're going to have to build a bunch of stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, so what do I do? Well, I'm going to have to stick with making... Let's just make the villagers first, or the illagers, or the ticklers, or whatever you want to call them. The ones that go, you know, those guys. We just have to get them done. This is the evil version of Squidward. And no, I'm not a... I have never really sat down and watched SpongeBob before. I should one day. If I watch cartoons, usually it's stuff that I watched when I was a little kid, but the modern stuff I really don't watch. I just can't get into that. Yep, when the yawn starts setting in, it's time to wrap it up. Well, I don't want to stop now and have to come back in and then just finish up another bag another day. I could, but Yeah, these things will just keep shooting at you until you're dead. Oh, I forgot to put the holder in the back of him. Okay, well, I found that piece. Even my asthma's been flaring up lately too. Air's just so bad anymore. Okay. You know, off with your head. Oh yeah, there it goes. And then the flag. Everything in this set's printed, by the way. There's only like those 2 tiles, the torsos, the heads, and the flag piece right here. This is printed. You know, there's actually some out there who despise printed parts. And for me personally, though, I prefer the printed stuff. Yeah, I was going through old messages of mine and found the message from Warner Brothers Kids about those Scooby-Doo sets that I could have gotten for free. Did a free review on them. And it wasn't their fault, but I still think about that, and then I still get the usual spammers. I don't give them a second chance anymore. And then they'll message me and go, well, Jay, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just have zero tolerance policy towards spammers. And then the F-bombs started flying, and that's when I started blocking. You know, I mean, I just don't have time. I used to have a lot of patience, not anymore. I think it's since I've gotten older. But I'm just like, no. I'm still a little sore over that. I mean, I was going through about 200 or 300 messages, and I missed it by maybe, I think I missed it by 40 or 50 days that they sent out those offers. And like, oh, we don't have any more offers, we're sorry. But here, buy the sets and review them for us. And I already had somebody giving me the sets anyways as a gift, because I wanted them regardless. But I thought, I'm just going to review them for my own personal use, but I'm not going to let you know. It wasn't your fault to begin with, but I don't have that kind of resource or time to tell people that I'm doing reviews. It's up to them to be subbed to do that. These cross pieces are pretty cool. But if they're in that color, that's got me worried. Yeah, I think we're going to go into I think I'm going to do an in-depth video on autism, being on the spectrum and all that stuff. I think it'll make a great video. If I do, I'll probably do it on the main channel. I think it'd be more benefit. I think somebody else would get more of a benefit out of it too. You know, how do I do it as an adult? What does that do? Is that the mouth? We'll find out eventually, huh? Well, I'm going to need that rubber band, because there it is. You show this here, and then you just lasso this around. The best thing to do is to keep it pulled a little bit like that. So I'm looking at the picture here. So I don't want to pinch that because it's rubber. And now it's locked in place. Alright. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll have a camper ready to go by Thanksgiving. I have one that's an older one that I built years ago that I had never made a building guide for. And it's a bit crude compared to today's standards that I do, but I thought I need to preserve that idea. So if I ever want to come back and revisit it, I can. And there was another camper I wanted to build, but it was kind of questionable. I didn't really like the way I'm doing it, so I'm just trying to think of how I want to tackle that situation there. There we go. Just about done. There's a 1x3 brick in here that's printed. It's just maybe the fourth thing. It's got the eyes on it. No, not that one, I guess, huh? And it's this one. No? Okay, I'm gonna need that anyways, because that's the next thing I gotta put in. There's some 2x3s. Maybe it is a 2x3. That's a 1x6. We got these here. Making sure. Let's doubly check and make sure here. And I know it's in the box because when I did the set for the brick exploration, there it was. So there is this it. There it is. So that's printed. And these villagers, I swear, they're the most silliest looking creatures. Everything's got a Squidward nose. Matter of fact, it doesn't even show that it's a Technic brick, so I'm assuming all I'm pulling out are Technic bricks right now. So I'm trying to find a regular 1x1 brick in here. Huh. Alright, well, let's start sorting things out. It could have fell on the floor. It could have done a lot of things. So let's start pulling things out here. Yeah, I just can't wait to get some time off and let my brain cool down. Be kind of cool. Can't wait to get the Lego sets built too, so I can really get in and start building the fun stuff. Some say that sets are fun to build, but, you know, well, I don't know what happened to that brick. It could have fell on the floor, because here's a slope, but it wouldn't fit in there. Sometimes you get to this point where, like this last bag is just kind of bland in color. This is not really, brown is not really an exciting color when it's just brown and black, because it just kind of looks dark and dreary at this point. So I'm just sorting out all the parts, pulling all the brown out of here in its own little categories. The only thing that they have in here are Technic bricks, and I see where those go. Here's a slope. Maybe you see it on the counter, I don't see it yet. Oh, it's a dark brown. So I was looking for it, and yeah, it's just a dark, that's not black, that's dark brown. See, that is the head. Okay. And where's the 2x3 here? Alright. And we use a friction pin in here. Some of these I have to work very slow through. You actually have to feed this through. So what I'm gathering is that you stick this here, and this one just kind of floats here. That's what they show. So it just sits in there, I guess. That's what it is. It just kind of hangs in there. Making sure I'm still recording. Silly me, sometimes I won't remember to record. I've done it once or twice on these, and I don't want to do that again. Alright. It's getting pretty messy up here. 3x3 plates are pretty cool to have. They're good for making vehicles. So, this is the body, what I'm gathering. I think this is where the legs are supposed to be. Hopefully they got that all modular. We could just breeze through that instead of have to do one leg at a time. You know what I mean? Okay, I see how that goes. So we're going to have to connect that in there. I'm not going to touch that yet, but it looks kind of like that. So they show you. Looks just like the picture. And there's a 1x3 arch in here. You're supposed to crown this off on the top. Now I'm not going to play with that until I know that's pretty secured in there. I think the arch goes on the top, or we're not going to tinker with it until we're done. Yeah, when I get to a village and these things appear, I hide in one of the houses and just start swinging. That's the only way I do it. Ooh, stacking two 2x3 reddish brown plates together like that. I hope I don't keep that together too long, because these will just probably turn into powder and disintegrate. That's the scary part. Would have been easier if we would have put those in first before we put those bricks in there. And we gotta make two of these. See, now I can mess with that headpiece. And don't worry, I'll change the camera angle when we do the rough review so you can look at that. Let's see here. Oh, I see what it does. So you pull the head out. You don't want to pull that out too far. And you'll really be breaking his neck. Alright. So I've got a bunch of little Technic stuff here. Whoops. Noisy book. Alright, so we put this here, and this runs flat. And my, oh my, it's been humid too. It's like, is it ever going to end? Okay, it goes like that. And then there's another one of those pieces that goes on the other side of that. Start pulling all these out. If you can't find what you're looking for, just start separating things. So I'm looking for another one of those gray plates. There it is. Okay. It just sits on there. If it feels like it's falling off, it's supposed to sit on there. And you're basically stacking these on like this. That's what the books showed us to do. So it just fits in there, and it should secure this. This must be the saddle then. So this is fully rideable. All right. Okay, I see what this thing's supposed to do. So it's supposed to do that. That makes it a little better than just pulling it, huh? Theirs sticks straight up. Mine's just kind of flopping. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Okay. I wish Lego would make these in one by one. I wish they didn't have the little hole in the middle though. There we go. I don't have a lot of these sets left, so we better enjoy them. Oh, sometimes this is hard. At least they got the little grooves. Can you imagine those inverted 2x2s and these and regular 2x2 flat tiles going together? You would not be able to get that apart very easily. Okay, what am I doing here? There we go. So I guess the reason why this side was floating, so these both can move at the same time. There we go. Well, maybe not. Just have to help it along. Okay, that's what it showed there in the book. We're almost done too. There's no progress bar in this, so you don't know. Oh, I'm glad I checked. We got to make 4 of these guys right here. So we'll set ourselves a little assembly line here. This must be the legs. And we'll blast right through these. Some people will build one at a time, you know, and if that works for you, that's quite alright. But for me, you know, when I do these videos, I want to make sure I mean, I don't want them to be 5 minutes long, but I don't want to make it where I'm, you know, 2 hours into just building something that could have been done simultaneously. So, just trying to set everything down and get it done. I can't wait to get back into the big MOCs. I ordered some more roof slopes since that dark red is starting to get pretty brittle, so I'm trying to find ways of using that stuff without it breaking. So it's just kind of sad, but I have to be careful with a certain color because it will break. I mean, who knows, you know. I wish Lego would just send us all brand new brown parts that were broken and dark red and stuff. I wouldn't care, but then again, I want to be able to have that piece right on hand. Alright. This is pretty close to the one in the game. So I'm taking it these probably go on the sides here. Take a look at the next step here. Alright, we're just going to have to put all these on here now. Pretty good color combination there, I must say. Okay. And then these go back on here like that. Alright. Well, then we got to take 4 of these and tile them all down. Sand blue, which is what this is here. You can tell the difference between this. And it's a color that I just don't have a lot of, especially in tile form. It's not a color that I'm just chomping to bits at, but it would look really cool to make a house like that with that color and just have some white trim going around it. They do have a lot of the sand blue bricks, but the color just doesn't appeal to me. Alrighty, we're getting close. We're almost done with this. This is actually the longest set I have to get done. The next one I think will be done in probably an hour. But I am not doing that tonight. Okay, that's what one of those look like on the sides. And then we just stick them in here, and too bad the legs don't move, but it is what it is. I mean, they're stationary. And we got a bunch of parts. Oh, I got to put these on top. My bad. Well, let's just fill that in now. Oh, there was 2 of those grass things I had to make. This thing right over here. So let's shove that on there. And we have 4 of these. Oh. Well, I'll have to take the legs back off. You know why? There's supposed to be a plate back here. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. We can correct that. We didn't glue it together, so we can fix that right up. Plus, the guy that usually sits on there, I like shooting them off with the crossbow. Shoot him right off his little perch. And, well, we are done. And so basically we finished up. Oh, this bag here was just the, I think this is a Savage, I don't know, and then one of the Pillagers. And that's what we have left. Okay, let's take a quick look at this stuff here and see what we have. So we have ourselves the village square, a little farm, and 1 house. And I believe they also have another one of these sets too, so if you combine enough of these you can actually make the whole village with it too. Well, in Minecraft it's not tilted. And put the farm there, that guy there. The poor villagers that they don't know what's coming to them because they just sit there half the time. Here, you can go ringy ringy the bell because you're going to get ready to have a raid happen here. And usually, I think this guy sits on the top of this. And I believe he can just fit right on the back of this guy. So something like that. Well, this is really kind of crooked, but there you go. Things are just, this feels kind of fragile. So we'll take a look at some of the stuff like these. You know, I could have left these out or something, but I need to see if I can find, I think that's white glazed clay, I can't remember. See if I can find some of those. And we got our pillagers. I guess this is supposed to be some NPC or maybe a player. We'll set them right there. Here's the armor stand. Some of these tile pieces. You know, I mean, yeah, it's fine, but some of these accessories are kind of pointless. I understand the pig. Stuff like these things right here are just kind of a waste. You know, the chest is kind of a waste, but you know, just from my assessment, it's a playable set. You got a complete house here. I mean, it's complete. I mean, it's complete inside. It is playable. And NPC can obviously go for the door. You can sit there like I do, have the door open and swing at that guy. And there's plenty of headroom and stuff, so that's pretty cool. These can go somewhere else. And got a potted plant. Some kind of torch, excuse me, light thing. But you do get 3 figures. No, you get 5 figures, the 2 villagers. A cat, treasure chest full of junk items, pig. So this has actually got not only accessories, but this is a playable set, you know. And it is, for the most part, complete with just pointless accessories. Now, is it playable? Yes, it is. As you can see, you know, you can play around with this and stuff, and you can, looks like a turtle with his head coming out. You know, could this be dropped in a city? This could. This probably could, and a little farm can. So this stuff is, it could be dropped in a city. Does it have accessory value? You know, yes, it does. It's got plenty of little accessories. You know, what about mock value? Could you build a mock with this? You could probably do an alternative build. You can add on to it too. There's other sets that you can do, or you can build other buildings that go with it. It'd be pretty cool to do a full-blown villager raid. The acacia tree is pretty cool, but whew, for me personally, it was a relaxing build. It wasn't too dry and boring. The color scheme on this was, you know, just by building it was just kind of dull, but this thing's already dark anyway, so it's not like you're going to have, you can't avoid that. But for me as an adult, it did keep my interest. I don't know what the set retailed for. It was given to me as a gift, but if you find it on sale, it's got a good source of parts. I think honestly it would be really good just to scavenge the bricks for terrains and stuff. Or if you're in the Minecraft theme, it's a good little set to display. So yeah, all in all, it's a nice build. I have nothing bad to say about it.